every traveller could have got to some places quicker. Imagine England players being asked for a show of hands for the pilot to know whether he should make a second attempt to land at a foggy Faroe Islands after an aborted first effort, or being asked in Moldova to board a bullet-ridden, war-torn coach. But incidents like these brought everyone together, forging a unique bond between the travelling media and Wales players. The bond was tested somewhat on a trip to Cyprus when, trying to find our way inside the stadium, we were stopped by an official who asked who we were and where we were trying to get to. Back came the reply from the Daily Telegraph representative, "We're the English press." Suddenly the booming voice of the Welsh-speaking and former Wales keeper Di Davies, who was part of the media group, yelled out, "No, we're effing not! We're the bloody Welsh press!" The laughter which followed proved no harm was done, and very quickly the story filtered its way down to some of the players, including Speedo, who was quick to ask before any subsequent interviews whether he was talking to the English or the Welsh press. As he grew older, he became more and more relaxed dealing with any media duties, and he encouraged me to keep in touch away from Wales duty, an absolute godsend for a football writer, because the snippets of information you would pick up in various conversations would be transformed into stories for the newspaper. I'd not really known Speedo during his early days at Leeds United, where under Howard Wilkinson he picked up a First Division Championship winning medal, the last season before the Premier League was launched. But from afar you could see how talented he was, a vital cog in the midfield which also comprised David Batty, Gordon Strachan and Gary McAllister. The fact Howard Wilkinson named him as his Player of the Year in the all-conquering season illustrated the exciting career which lay ahead of him. Despite his film star looks, it was never wise to be photographed next to him. There was never any signs of vanity or aloofness as he climbed the football ladder. Often in later years when we met up for a quick drink or chat, he would be recognised, and any requests for an autograph or photo were politely granted without any fuss. Nothing was too much trouble. As Speedo and I grew closer, so did the trust, and we would speak off the record on many subjects. I would only use in print what he wanted out in the public domain, which was frustrating at times because, as a journalist, you can foresee the headlines of a potentially excellent story for the back pages. One of the most frustrating times, I believe, for both of us, was the vitriol which came his way after leaving his boyhood team Everton for Newcastle United. He, like all the players, loved the legendary manager Howard Kendall, but there was a cloud hanging over the dressing room, one I couldn't accept, and so I left. As he explained in one of the chapters for the original autobiography, more of that later, the main reason for his departure had never been told. He was accused of being a traitor, and worse, by many incensed supporters who weren't aware of what was going on behind the scenes at Goodison Park. "I was public enemy number one as far as the Everton fans were concerned for some time," he told me. "In a way, I was glad to see Nicky Barmby move across Stanley Park from Everton to Liverpool because that took some of the heat off me." We are reproducing the chapter that emerged from those discussions, but even then Speedo stopped short of graphically stating his reasons for cutting short his stay at the club he had supported from the terraces. All I could push him on was revealing that the manager's physical state wasn't the best, and as a professional footballer, he couldn't accept that. Never once did he come out and say, despite all the abuse and threats which came his way, that in fact Howard was battling with a drink problem. I kept prompting him when we were in the process of putting his book together that this was finally the time to put the record straight. He wouldn't, but I have, because his memory doesn't deserve to be tarnished in any way, and in any case, most people in the game knew of Howard's overindulgence in alcohol. That hasn't diminished in any shape or form the love which is still felt for Everton's most successful manager. So, for those who abused Speedo at the time, and anyone still mystified